Something strange is happening in Colorado. A place once seen as a dream destination, the land of endless adventure, fresh mountain air, and booming cities, is now seeing a steady stream of people packing up and heading out. In the last year alone, Colorado experienced its first population decline in over a decade, with an estimated 27,000 more people leaving than moving in. That might not sound like much at first, but it's part of a growing trend, one that's forcing locals, policymakers, and families alike to ask, what's going on here? Why are people turning their backs on a state that once seemed unbeatable? Could it be the sky-high housing prices, the crushing traffic, the rising crime, or environmental changes? We're breaking down 10 reasons why everyone is leaving Colorado, and some of them may surprise you. But before we dive in, let's make this a conversation. Have you lived in Colorado? Are you thinking about moving there or leaving? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're into real talk about what's really going on across America, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. All right, let's get into it. Colorado has gone from being a reasonably affordable mountain state to one of the priciest places to live in the U.S. The cost of living is now a whopping 17% higher than the national average. And in cities like Boulder and Denver, that gap is even wider. In Denver, the median home price is now close to $600,000. That's double what it was 10 years ago. Compare that to the national median home price, which hovers around $412,000. It's clear that Colorado has jumped into the luxury tier without offering much more in return. For renters, things aren't much better. In 2023, Denver ranked among the top 10 U.S. cities for fastest rent growth, with a one-bedroom apartment averaging over $1,800 per month. And that doesn't include utilities, which are also climbing. Food, gas, and healthcare all cost more in Colorado than the U.S. average. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about the lifestyle. Families who move to Colorado to enjoy a higher quality of life are now making tough decisions: downgrade housing, take on extra jobs, or move to more affordable states like Utah, Idaho, or even the Midwest. The middle class is being squeezed out, and more residents are saying the cost just isn't worth the scenery anymore. Colorado's infrastructure just can't keep up with its population growth. The state added over 700,000 new residents in the past decade, yet road improvements and public transit expansion haven't kept pace. The result? Soul-crushing traffic, especially in Denver and along I-70. This highway connects Denver to the Rocky Mountains and is notorious for its weekend traffic. A trip to the mountains that should take 90 minutes can easily stretch into 5 hours on a winter Friday. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a lifestyle killer. Outdoor enthusiasts who once moved to Colorado to ski or hike every weekend are now choosing to stay home or move elsewhere. Public transportation options remain limited and outdated. Denver's RTD light rail system only serves a fraction of the metro area, and service cuts during the pandemic haven't been fully restored. The lack of reliable mass transit means most residents are dependent on cars, further clogging the roads and increasing carbon emissions. Add in crumbling roads, limited bike infrastructure, and urban sprawl, and it's easy to see why traffic is driving people away. Colorado used to be known for its wide-open spaces, peaceful trails, and tranquil mountain escapes, but now overcrowding is everywhere. Popular hiking spots have turned into Disneyland-like attractions, with packed parking lots and long lines just to get on a trail. Rocky Mountain National Park had to implement a timed entry system to manage the flood of visitors. Even small mountain towns like Breckenridge and Estes Park have become overrun with tourists and transplants. Locals feel pushed out, and the sense of community is eroding. For many, the charm that once defined Colorado life is being drowned out by traffic, crowds, and commercialization. This isn't just a rural problem. Urban areas are struggling with school overcrowding, hospital wait times, and insufficient public services. The rapid population growth has simply outpaced the infrastructure, leading many to say the state has lost the magic it once had. The image of Colorado as a pristine mountain haven is becoming harder to maintain. The state is ground zero for several environmental challenges, the most pressing of which is drought. The Colorado River Basin has been in a historic drought for over 20 years, and with snowpack levels inconsistent, the situation is growing dire. Water restrictions are now routine, and farmers are being forced to fallow fields. In addition to water issues, wildfires are getting worse, larger, hotter, and more frequent. The 2020 fire season was the most destructive in the state's history, with over 600,000 acres burned. Entire neighborhoods have been threatened or destroyed, and even areas that haven't burned directly suffer from weeks of thick, hazardous smoke. Air quality has taken a serious hit. In 2021, Denver ranked among the worst cities in the world for air quality, worse than Beijing on some days. That's not exactly the clean mountain air people signed up for. With a warming climate, diminishing water resources, and increasingly smoky summers, some are deciding that the natural beauty of Colorado just isn't worth the trade-offs anymore. It's not just expensive, it's inaccessible. The housing market in Colorado has reached a full-blown crisis level. The inventory of available homes has dropped drastically, especially for first-time homebuyers. According to the Colorado Association of Realtors, housing inventory has dropped by over 40% in some counties since 2019. And what is available? Often luxury units or condos priced well above what the average family can afford. In Colorado Springs, for example, only 1 in 4 homes on the market is affordable to the median income household. In 2019, that figure was nearly 3 out of 4. This dramatic shift has made it almost impossible for younger generations to get a foot in the door of homeownership. Add to that the rise in corporate and investor ownership of properties. In 2022, nearly 1 in 5 homes sold in the Denver metro area went to institutional investors. That drives prices up and keeps regular families out of the market. More people are being forced into long-term renting, but even the rental market is oversaturated and overpriced. The dream of owning a home in Colorado is quickly becoming a fantasy for many. We're halfway through the list, and it's clear that what's happening in Colorado is bigger than any one issue. It's a combination of economic pressure, environmental strain, and lifestyle shifts that are reshaping the entire state. But here's where I want to hear from you. Are these the same reasons you'd leave Colorado? Are there any you think we missed? Or maybe some that don't bother you at all? Let me know in the comments. Your voice genuinely shapes the direction of this channel. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, give it a quick thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps a ton and lets me know you want more content like this. Also, if there's another state or city you want me to cover next, whether it's why people are leaving, moving in, or just what's changing, tell me below. Your suggestions often turn into full episodes. Crime is on the rise in many parts of Colorado, particularly in urban areas like Denver and Aurora. According to FBI statistics, violent crime in Colorado has increased by over 50% in the past decade. This includes spikes in homicides, aggravated assaults, and armed robberies. But it's not just violent crime that's concerning. Property crimes have also surged. Car thefts have become almost routine. In 2023, Colorado had the highest per capita vehicle theft rate in the nation. Over 41,000 cars were reported stolen statewide that year alone. Some residents have even reported having their cars stolen multiple times. Police departments are under-resourced, and response times have increased. In some neighborhoods, residents say it feels like crimes go unpunished, which erodes the community's sense of security. This is particularly jarring in areas that were once considered safe or even idyllic. When your car gets broken into 3 times in a year, it's hard to justify staying, no matter how beautiful the views are. The financial strain doesn't stop at housing or groceries. Coloradans are also facing rising property taxes, sales taxes, and home insurance premiums. While Colorado's property tax rates are relatively modest compared to places like California, rapidly increasing home values mean people are paying thousands more than they did just a few years ago. Home insurance, in particular, is spiking. Due to wildfires, hailstorms, and flooding risks, insurers are hiking premiums or outright refusing to renew policies in high-risk areas. Some homeowners in Boulder County and parts of Jefferson County have seen their premiums double. Others have been forced into costly state-backed insurance programs after being dropped by private carriers. For those on fixed incomes, especially retirees, these financial pressures are pushing them out of the state entirely. Many are choosing to downsize or move to states like Arizona, Texas, or Tennessee, where insurance costs and taxes are more predictable. Homelessness is on the rise throughout Colorado, and it's become especially visible in major cities. In Denver, tent encampments have become a fixture in many neighborhoods, parks, and near government buildings. As of the latest count, more than 10,000 people are experiencing homelessness across the state, a 30% increase since 2018. While some blame the housing market, others point to mental health and addiction issues. The reality is, it's a combination of factors, and the state's efforts to combat it haven't made much of a dent. The city of Denver spent over $250 million on homelessness-related services in 2022 alone, yet the problem has only worsened. For nearby residents, the impact is real. Property values decline, public spaces become less usable, and local businesses often struggle. Some families report feeling unsafe walking downtown or taking their kids to public parks. As homelessness spreads into suburbs and smaller towns, more residents are deciding they no longer want to raise their families in such unstable environments. The rise of remote work, once seen as a reason to move to Colorado, is now one of the reasons people are leaving. During the pandemic, thousands of workers from New York, Louisiana, and San Francisco flocked to Denver, Boulder, and mountain towns, lured by the idea of working from paradise. But now that remote work is widely accepted, those same workers are realizing they don't have to stay somewhere expensive to work remotely. Why pay Colorado prices when you could have the same job and live in a state with half the cost? States like North Carolina, Oregon, and even international destinations like Portugal are seeing an influx of remote workers looking for more space and less stress. The Zoom boom also had unintended consequences. It drove up local housing prices and caused resentment among longtime Coloradans who were priced out of their own neighborhoods. Now that the shine is wearing off, people are cashing out and heading elsewhere, sometimes back to where they came from, sometimes to somewhere entirely new. Colorado is getting older, and fast. The population over 65 is expected to increase by 35% in the next 10 years. While that brings opportunities for retirement-focused industries, it also puts pressure on healthcare, housing, and public services. At the same time, younger people are leaving the state in search of better affordability and work-life balance elsewhere. This generational imbalance is already leading to labor shortages in construction, education, and healthcare. Restaurants and small businesses report not being able to hire enough staff. Wages are going up, but not fast enough to keep people living in expensive areas. This imbalance could have long-term consequences. A shrinking workforce paired with rising senior care demands could strain public resources and lead to service cuts. It's not just a demographic trend. It's a growing concern that's affecting the state's future stability. So there you have it. 10 powerful reasons why so many people are saying goodbye to Colorado. From affordability crashing down on families to environmental challenges reshaping the very landscape, this once idyllic state is facing a major turning point. Some might say it's growing pains, and if this video gave you something to think about, hit that like button to let the algorithm know it's worth sharing. If you're not already part of the community, subscribe and turn on that little bell. We've got more deep dives coming soon that you won't want to miss. Until next time, take care. And choose your next move wisely.